When he handed me a lukewarm cup of black coffee on the morning of my birthday, I told myself not to expect anything. Maybe he was saving the surprise for later. Maybe he wasn't a morning person. Maybe I was being dramatic. But by 10 a.m., nothing. No hug. No card. Not even a lazy happy birthday. Just him, slouched on the couch, scrolling through news feeds and sipping from my favorite mug, the one he always accidentally used. By noon, I texted my mom. Guess who forgot again? She sent back a cake emoji and a sad face. I didn't cry. I didn't even feel shocked. Just quietly tired. This wasn't the first year he forgot. But it was the first one that didn't hurt the same way. That afternoon, while we were driving to pick up groceries, no mention of dinner, no plans, the Bluetooth connected automatically. His playlist. A song came on. He smiled. Oh man, this was Bella's favorite song. I blinked. Bella? He laughed. My ex's dog. She used to dance to this. Hilarious. A name. A dog. From 3 relationships ago. He remembered that. But not the date of the woman he'd lived with for 2.5 years. My hands clenched on the steering wheel. You remember her dog's name, I said. He shrugged, still smiling. It was a cool dog. Not, sorry I forgot your birthday. Not, let's do something tonight. Just a shrug. Just Bella. I didn't say anything else. I didn't ruin the ride. I just counted. That night, he fell asleep early, snoring lightly, phone in hand, YouTube still playing some half-baked tech video. I sat on the edge of the bed, staring at my reflection in the mirror. How many times had I let this happen? How many times had I told myself I didn't need the big gesture, that I was low maintenance, chill, understanding? How many times had I convinced myself I didn't need to be remembered? I opened notes on my phone. Typed. Day 1, he remembered a dog's name. Not mine. I didn't know why I started writing it down. Maybe because I needed proof. Maybe because I was tired of forgetting myself. Not long after, he started doing what he always did, apologizing late. Wait, was it your birthday yesterday? He asked the next morning. I smiled, bland and automatic. Yeah. He paused. Damn. I had it in my calendar, too. I nodded. Don't worry. It's just a day. But inside, something had already shifted. It wasn't just a day. It was a mirror. And I was finally looking at it. The next day, I found the notebook I hadn't opened in over a year. The one with the song lyrics. Half-finished verses. Hooks that never made it past one chorus. Old parts of me I'd tucked away to make room for him. It still smelled like lemon balm and pen ink. I ran my fingers over the page where I'd once scribbled. Loving you feels like fading out of my own voice. I don't know why, but that line hit differently now. He was in the living room, talking loudly on speaker with a friend. Something about fantasy football. I tuned him out. Instead, I opened my laptop and clicked New Project in Logic Pro. It was a small act. A quiet one. But something in me sparked, the kind of spark you can't unfeel once it hits oxygen. Later that evening, we ordered Thai food. He didn't ask what I wanted, just defaulted to his usual, spicy noodles, spring rolls, iced tea. When it arrived, he handed me the bag like a favor. I figured you'd want pad see ew, he said. I don't really like that anymore, I replied gently. He blinked, surprised. Since when? Since about a year ago. He looked down at the food. Huh. No apology. No curiosity. Just confusion, like I'd malfunctioned. That night, I wrote again. Day 2, he doesn't see who I am now. Only who I used to be when I made him feel loved. I wasn't trying to trap him. I wasn't planning revenge. I was documenting. Because if I ever forgot why I left, I needed a map back to myself. 2 days later, while folding laundry, I found a concert flyer I'd printed a year ago. A showcase I never went to because he had a cold that night. "Stay in with me," he'd said. "It's just some bar gig." So I stayed. I always stayed. But that night, alone in our apartment while he played video games with a headset on, I opened my email and sent a voice memo to an old friend from music school. Just a verse. No production. Me and a piano. Raw. I titled the file. Just a day. He didn't notice. Of course he didn't. His mom smiled when we arrived, but it wasn't the kind of smile that says, "I'm glad to see you." It was the kind of smile that says, "You remembered to show up, well done." Dinner was the usual: lasagna, white wine, too many questions about his job, his projects, his plans. No one asked me anything. Correction, someone did. His aunt leaned across the table, fork in hand, and asked, "Are you still doing that singing thing?" I smiled politely. "I'm actually producing now, too." She blinked. "Producing, like concerts?" "Like music. Independent work." "Oh," she said. "That's fun." He didn't jump in. Didn't add a word. He was too busy telling them about his recent promotion, which, to be fair, he earned. But I sat there with a quiet weight in my chest, realizing I could disappear from that table and no one would notice the missing chair. After dessert, his mom pulled him aside in the kitchen. I heard bits of it, the clinking of plates, the hush of criticism dressed as advice. "She's lovely, but maybe it's time you thought more seriously. Someone more stable." I stood in the hallway, coat half on. He didn't correct her. Didn't defend me. Didn't even tell her I heard. That night, I came home, sat at the piano, and rewrote the chorus of Just a Day. It's just a date on a calendar. Just a cake they forgot to light. Just a girl in the hallway, quiet. Trying not to ruin the night. I didn't post it. Not yet. But I saved it. Because the silence had a sound now. And I wanted to remember how it rang. I uploaded the audio at 1:42 a.m. Just the chorus. No hashtags. No filters. No vocals layered, just me and my keys, slightly off tune from being out of practice. I didn't expect anything. It felt more like leaving a note in a bottle and tossing it into the ocean. Anonymous. Quiet. Mine. By morning, there were 12 comments. By lunch, 327. Did anyone else feel that third line? I haven't cried like this in months. This is what my silence sounds like. I read them all in the bathroom, door locked, sitting fully clothed on the edge of the tub while he made eggs and talked to himself in the kitchen about crypto. He didn't know. I didn't want him to. That evening, he suggested we take a photo together, something to post for Throwback Thursday, he said. He looked good. Always did. Perfect teeth, effortless jawline, that tousled hair that made women double-take in grocery stores. I looked tired. But sharp. "No thanks," I said gently. He tilted his head. "Why not?" "I just don't feel like being seen right now." He shrugged. "Suit yourself." He posted a solo shot instead. Caption, "Still building. Always evolving." I stared at it for too long. Then opened Logic. Wrote a new verse. Still building, he says. Still climbing that wall. But forgets who held him when he couldn't crawl. Still smiling for strangers, performing so well. But I live with the version too boring to tell. I didn't sleep that night. But I didn't feel tired, either. By Friday afternoon, the post had over 600,000 plays. Not the full song, just the chorus. Just those 15 seconds of raw, shaky audio. People stitched it. Danced to it. Whispered it in duets with tears in their eyes. They made fan art. They speculated. They called it the heartbreak anthem for women who keep receipts. And still, I didn't say a word. I got 3 messages from indie producers. One said, "Who are you?" Another, "Do you have management?" The third just said, "Please let me produce this." I ignored them all. At dinner, he scrolled through his phone between bites of pasta I made. "Have you heard this song that's blowing up?" he asked. "Something about a birthday or whatever? Everyone's reposting it." I paused. He played the audio. My voice. My words. But he didn't know it was me. He nodded. "Kinda haunting. No idea who it is, though. But man, she's got pain in her voice." I looked at him and smiled softly. "Yeah," I said. "Maybe that's why people are listening." Later that night, I added a second verse. She bought the cake. He forgot the day. She lit the candles. He looked away. She sang to herself, quietly, in the dark. And made music from the missing part. I didn't post it. Just saved it in drafts. But something told me, the bridge was coming. It played while we were driving. Not Spotify. Not TikTok. Radio. He was flipping through stations on a lazy Sunday drive, and suddenly, my voice filled the car. The stripped-down demo. No beat, no harmony. Just the ache. He paused. "Whoa. That's that song again." I nodded, heart pounding. "She's everywhere now," he said. "You can tell it's not just lyrics. It's real. Personal." I kept my eyes on the road. "Yeah. Sounds like it." He turned it up. "Let it play all the way through." "Wonder what he did to her," he said casually. I didn't answer. That night, after he fell asleep watching highlights from a football game he didn't even care about, I checked my inbox. Subject, your voice found us. It was from a small, woman-led label in Portland. They'd found my SoundCloud link, followed the breadcrumbs, and made the connection. "We don't know who you are yet. But your voice already speaks for thousands. If you're ready to record, we're ready to help." I stared at the screen for a long time. Then I opened Logic and started building the bridge. He started being careful. Little things at first. Making coffee how I like it, without me asking. Mentioning maybe we should do something special soon without any dates attached. Even complimenting my outfits, ones he used to call too loud or a lot. I didn't respond with warmth. But I didn't shut it down either. It was fascinating, like watching someone try to solve a puzzle where they don't even know what the final picture is supposed to be. At dinner, he said, "You've been really different lately." I raised an eyebrow. Different how? I don't know. Quieter. But also stronger. More like, centered. I looked at him across the table, candlelight flickering between us. "Maybe I'm just becoming myself again," I said softly. He nodded, but I saw the flicker of confusion in his eyes. He still didn't know. But he could feel it, the shift. The slow unthreading of the version of me he was comfortable with. That night, I uploaded the full version of Just a Day to all platforms. Spotify. Apple Music. Bandcamp. No artist name. Just a symbol. Just the song. It charted within 36 hours. He found out because of a TikTok. Not even from me, from a stranger. A girl with pink hair, sitting in her car, eyes puffy from crying, talking into the camera. "This song saved me." And then I saw the face behind it. She flipped the screen. A clip of me, laughing with headphones on in a studio. Behind the glass. Real. Undeniable. The comments were filled with tags. People asking. Who is she? Why do I feel like I know her? How can pain feel so familiar? He walked into the living room holding his phone. The video paused mid-frame. my face frozen in soft light. He didn't say anything. He didn't need to. I closed my laptop. Looked up slowly. He sat across from me, screen down, eyes uncertain. "You wrote that," he said. I nodded once. He stared at the wall. "Is it about me?" I didn't look away. "It's about me," I said. A long pause. He nodded slowly, like he was swallowing something he'd never tasted before. "It's good," he added, voice low. "Really good. Thank you." He didn't ask more. Didn't apologize. Didn't even try to turn it into a conversation. He just sat there, quiet for the first time in months. And I realized. He finally saw me. But I was already gone. The venue was small. Dim lights. Brick walls. The kind of place where silence means respect, not boredom. I stood behind the curtain holding my guitar. Hands trembling, not from fear, but from adrenaline that had nowhere to go. The host called my name. Not my full name, just the one I'd started using again. The one I gave up when we moved in together. I stepped into the light. And there he was. Back of the room. Alone. Arms crossed. Wearing that same jacket I once patched at 2 a.m. after he tore it on a fence. He didn't smile. He didn't wave. He just watched. I adjusted the mic. "This is a song called Just a Day," I said. "And it's not about revenge. It's about remembering what it costs to forget yourself." Silence. Then breath. I started to play. "You forgot the day I was born. But remembered her dog's name. You called me steady, sweet, supportive. And left me out of the frame. You said I was too emotional. That I made things too intense. So I turned down my volume. Until silence made more sense." The room held its breath. But I didn't. When the last chord rang, I opened my eyes, and he was gone. No goodbye. No message. Just absence. Which, for the first time, felt like freedom. It didn't happen overnight. Nothing worth keeping ever does. But 3 months after that night on stage, I signed a distribution deal with the label in Portland. My EP came out on a Friday. By Sunday, it had 500,000 streams. But that wasn't the win. The win was waking up without that ache behind my ribs. The win was singing without asking myself if it was too much. The win was walking past a mirror and seeing someone I missed, and realizing she never left. She'd just gone quiet. I moved into a new place. Small, sunlit, mine. I painted one wall deep blue and hung up a single framed photo, me in the studio, laughing. Sometimes, people recognize my voice at cafes. Sometimes, girls send messages that say, "Thank you for writing what I couldn't say." And once, just once, he messaged. "Hey. Just heard your EP. It's honest. I hope you're doing okay. Also, happy belated." I didn't reply. Not out of anger. Not even pride. Just peace. Because I didn't need the closure. I'd already written it. In chords. In verses. In silence. Now, when people ask what just a day means, I smile. It's the sound of being remembered, I say. By yourself. And that's enough.